Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to the Morning Devo with Bo. This is my devotion, and my name is Bo Willette. You can always check out my archives at Bo Willette at the YouTube channel, and check them out, man. Going through the books of the Bible in a devotion format, and it's always... I hope you guys enjoy my perspectives too, just coming from that Generation X background, very atheistic background for sure, very secular, progressive background, and then, reading the Bible, that's my story, and then coming to trust in the God of the Bible in my life and for my afterlife. Blaise Pascal once said, death is eternal no matter what state it's in. And, man, that's always hit me like, gosh, so true. Death is eternal no matter what state it is in. And so if you're an atheist out there, that's right. Death is the end. It's eternal no matter what you're thinking is going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to you, you might think. And that's right. It's going to start your eternity of nothingness. And I love Blaise's perspective, because he says if that is true, and that is the most scientifically, like a scientific fact that we know as human beings, is that death is the end, then every decision we make should be predicated on that point of our going into death. Meaning you got to think about it. Not just think about it, but you got to seek the truth. Whatever the truth may be, you got to seek it out. And, this kind of reminds me of something that Jesus said, right? Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open. And so my story certainly is about, just seeking, right? Growing up very secular, going into very new agey ideas, kind of making up God as you understand him, and kind of just rolling with that, right? Before you knew it, I create God in my own image, right? Interesting. So now I just go through the Bible. I love going through book by book. I always have, actually, for the past 30 so years. And I'm in Proverbs 27 this morning. So Paula, thank you for joining me an hour earlier than normal. You have a great day. For those that are catching this a little later on, sorry I started an hour early, but it's beautiful out there. I can hear the birds chirping. Hopefully you can too. And let's get into it. So it says, don't brag about tomorrow, since you don't know what the day will bring. This is actually quoted too in the New Testament in the book of James. That's where that's at. Don't boast about tomorrow, what you're going to do tomorrow, right? We don't know. We're presuming, we're being presumptuous that we have tomorrow. I don't really know what I have, right? Jesus spoke this way too. How do you know what's going on like tomorrow? How do you know what next month's going to bring? Yeah, I might have a trip to go see my second father in a month, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to actually be doing that, because I don't know for sure. So don't presume. How many times do we presume on things, and it kind of gets us in trouble, right? Oh, I'll do that, or I'm going to do that, right? It's different from procrastinating. Procrastinating is I'll get to that, but you never do, right? But presuming is the idea is, oh yeah, that'll get done, right? You're presuming someone else is going to do it when maybe you just should do it, right? So don't be presumptuous. Don't brag about tomorrow. We don't know what the day will bring. And that's so true. Okay, so we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. Just got today. Let someone else praise you, not your own mouth. A stranger, not your own lips. This is a good one. I don't know about you, but, sometimes, man, I tend to brag, and, I can get good at something, and I tend to talk it up. And I love how it says, let someone else praise you and not your own mouth. That's good. It's a good word to me. Bragging, not so good. A stone is heavy and a sand is weighty, but the resentment caused by a fool is even heavier. Just as there's heavy sand, which is weighty, but the resentment caused by a fool is even heavier. Resentment. Is that one that just gets you in your heart? The idea of resentments, right? I've heard resentment being spoken of as letting someone live in your brain, right? Rent free. They just live there, man. They're constantly there. And that's a bummer. You have a resentment. And how do you deal with the resentment? Well, get out a piece of paper, write down whoever it is' names living in your head, put down resentment, and put down why you resent them. What did they do? How did that make you feel? How did it affect your life? And when you start getting down to this, you're going to see some of your own selfishness and some of your own stuff that's going to come out. And when that comes out, we don't go neglect it. We go, whoa. I see that I didn't get my way, and I felt belittled, and I felt not appreciated, and I felt this, and I felt that, and you're going to find a lot of insecurity in you. And then you take that to the Lord. God, you got to deal with my heart. See, now you're getting your eyes off of other people, that person who's living in your brain, and now you're starting to get it on your own walk, right? And some of the things that you got going on, right? You think everybody else has the defect, but really, all you got is you. All we got is us, right? Our spirit is in this body, right? And one day this body's not going to be able to hold that spirit anymore. We call that death. And so I need to work on this, right? I can learn to love those people. How? By just working on myself, right? Trying to get myself and my mind right, having some serenity, having some peace. So anyway, I love that. Resentment caused by a fool is even heavier. Anger is cruel and wrath is like a flood, but jealousy is even more dangerous. Man, what's your jealousy like? Am I jealous? Oh, man, jealousy can be a burning anger, and it's not good. It can keep you awake hours upon hours, right? Where is that person? Where did they go? Why aren't they home? Jealousy just rages in you. You're searching their phone, you're searching their internet, whatever it is. You're trying to find what they're doing. They're out and about in the town. There's a jealousy that just has kept you wide awake. An open rebuke is better than hidden love. It's better just to have an open rebuke, and better than a love that's supposedly there but really it's hiding. It's better just to have someone who's openly rebuked you. Man, a lot of rebuke I think of in my life. A lot of correction. Wounds from a sincere friend are better than many kisses of an enemy. Are my friends just friends that never say anything that would wound me? Or do my real friends, are they ones that can say something that's, gonna hurt a little bit, maybe even hurt a lot, but it's something I need to hear. So it's kind of good of what a real friend kind of looks like. A person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry. That's right. A person who is full, if you're full in Christ, then maybe the other things of the world won't look so pleasurable, right? Because you're full, right? You'd refuse even honey because you're so full. But even bitter food, even the lowest of things, tastes sweet to the one who is what? Dissatisfied, starving. Man, that's a good one. You could apply that to a lot of areas of life, right? Why do I go to that thing? Why do I do that? Why do I go here? Maybe it's because I'm not getting satisfied in a spiritual way. Maybe I'm not growing well in a spiritual way, so I continue to go that other route. Maybe I need to work on some more things spiritually. You'll find that that's going to continue your whole life, and that's why I move in those other directions. Maybe my passions are ruling. Because I don't have a passion that's directed in a better way, in a better area, to a better object, right? So I love that. That's always a good one. A person who is full refuses honey, but even bitter food tastes sweet to the hungry. A person who strays from home is like a bird that strays from its nest. Oh, right? It just keeps going and going like a bird, just going away, but then all of a sudden it gets lost. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. Hey, listen to your parents. They might have told you things that are tough for you to hear, but maybe they love you, right? And that's why they're saying it to you, is they want you to understand. Don't stray far from them, right? Or you'll get lost. You'll lose your compass. You'll lose your way. Listen to what they say. That's the idea of the Proverbs, right? Listen. The heartfelt counsel of a friend is as sweet as perfume and incense. Never abandon a friend, either yours or your father's. When disaster strikes, you won't have to ask your brother for assistance. It's better to go to a neighbor than for a brother who lives far away. All right. So, hey, first of all, get to know your neighbor. In case something happens, you got people around you that can assist you with something. That's always really important, right? And I love that. Don't abandon your friends, right? And, because, again, when danger hits, when disaster comes, I was in a disaster in Los Angeles County in Northridge. I lived in Northridge during the Northridge earthquake. I lived on Nordhoff and Reseda. Look up where the earthquake epicenter was. Nordhoff, Reseda. That thing was gnarly. It was so gnarly. Many people died across the street from us in a 3-story apartment. I think it was called the Meadows. I was in the Darby House, right by the university, Cal State University of Northridge. And me and my newlywed wife, who we grew up with, just over the hill in Simi Valley and in the valley, that was huge. That thing rocked our world. I never felt anything like that, and nor do I want to feel like anything like that again. When you feel the world coming down in a quake, that fast of a quake and that heavy and violent, there's nothing you can do, and you are so inept to move, literally do anything. You might think like, oh, I'll do this. No, you can't. You have something so powerful that is beyond your brain. Actually, your brain doesn't understand that kind of power. So when it hits and you're in it like that, there's nothing to do. All you can do is you can't even ride it out, because you can't even think about riding it out because your brain is on tilt. It's really unbelievable. And so it's good to have neighbors. I was fortunate. I knew my neighbors. I went to college with these people. So just to have people around that I could see where they're at and they could see where I'm at, and we could assist each other, that was important, right? Parents couldn't help. They were 35, 45 miles away. Just wasn't going to happen. They couldn't. Freeways were damaged. It wasn't a good scene. Good to have friends close. Be wise, my child, and make my heart glad. Then I will be able to answer my critics. That's right. Hey, child, make your parent happy. Honor your parent. Listen to your parent. Man, they'll feel like they can take the world on, when they know that you're on their side. And it's so true. When you feel like you have a kid your kid who's growing up on your side, listening to you, man, that charges your heart. And it's like, man, an energy that can come into you. And no matter what people say about you, you just sense such a completeness with your children when they're paying attention. It's awesome. And it says a prudent person foresees danger and takes precaution. The simpleton goes blindly on and suffers the consequences. That's right. You got to look at the sign of the times. You got to be somewhat prepared. You got to think through things. Get security from someone who guarantees a stranger's debt. Get a deposit if he does it for foreigners. That's right. Get a security. If you're putting up money for someone, you got to put, this is a proverb, right? The economic proverb. We see this over and over in the Proverbs. Don't put up money for people. If you can't do it, don't do it, right? If they don't pay, can you pay? And if the answer is yes, then cool, you got it. If the answer's nope, then don't. And so it's a very good principle. And it says, a loud and cheerful greeting early in the morning will be taken as a curse. In the morning, don't honk your horn like that person did out there earlier in the devotion. That can be a curse. Well, it's not too early in the morning, so, we'll give them a pass. By the way, they do that daily. But they must be trying to get someone out of their house all the time. But, if you 6 in the morning, start honking on the horn, whew, man, all the neighbors would be pretty upset. Now, notice that just as we have neighbors, so they had neighbors too. So not everybody lived in these, houses or places that were on Little House of the Prairie, maybe way far away from other people. No, wherever there was a town or a city, you would have neighbors, people that kind of lived closer together in more closer quarters. And that's what we see today as well. A lot of us live in neighborhoods, right? What we call maybe tract homes. And that we have a lot of neighbors living in tighter areas. And so it's just like back then in that way. Of course, there's always people that live out on the tundra, live out there. And they don't have many. They have maybe a bull as a neighbor. So it says, a quarrelsome wife is an annoying and constant dripping on a rainy day. It's like the third or fourth time that Solomon has mentioned a quarrelsome wife. It must mean that Solomon saw some annoying women in his world, right? A constant dripping, constant quarreling. Can't do nothing right. Doesn't matter what it is. You already did things wrong, and that's enough. And that's enough ammo for that person just to keep at you. Constant quarreling. Constant never good enough. Whatever it is, it's a constant dripping on a rainy day. Am I that way? Am I that way where I'm a quarrelsome guy? That's how I look at that. Do I constantly cause a quarrel? Stopping her complaints is like trying to stop the wind or trying to hold something with greased hands. So sad, right? You can't grasp the wind and you can't stop this person from just constantly going at it. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. I love that. Friends sharpen one another. As workers tend a fig tree are allowed to eat the fruit. So workers who protect their employer's interest will be rewarded. A good employer is one who protects our good employee's job is to protect the employer's interest. And man, don't we enjoy that if people that are working under you are for you and kind of back you. That's important. As a face is reflected in water, so the heart reflects the real person. So true. Get down to the heart, really reflects where we're at. Just as death and destruction are never satisfied, so human desire is never satisfied. So true, right? The eyes, the lust that we have, the covetousness is just constant in our life. We can't stop. Try to stop coveting. Give it a whirl. Dare you, right? Thou shalt not covet. Lord, help me not to desire all those things. Help my lustful inclinations. It says, fire tests the purity of silver and gold, but a person is tested by being praised. You cannot separate fools from their foolishness, even though you grind them like grain with mortar and pestle, right? Even though they get grinded down, right? You can't separate a fool from their foolishness. You can't grind it any more down to separate it. It's just, a fool has a bunch of foolishness in his life. It says, know the state of your flocks and put your heart into caring for your herds. Oh man, it's so good. Take care of what you got. I love that. Just take care of it, Know the condition of your flocks. It's good for ministry, of course, as a pastor. Take care of your flocks. Know the condition of your flock. But think of just the investment, the things you have in your life. Do you know what they are? Do you have an inventory of them? Do you take care of them? If you can't take care of it, then maybe it's time to get rid of it, right? Yeah. Take care of those things you have. For riches don't last forever, and the crown might not be passed to the next generation. Hey, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen to the riches. You never know if you're going to get an inheritance or not. After the hay is harvested and new crop appear and the mountain grasses are gathered in, your sheep will provide wool for clothing and your goats will provide the price of a field, and you'll have enough goats' milk for yourself, your family, and your servant girls. So hey, it's good to take care of your stuff. That way you know what you got. You know kind of the value of everything that you own. And you can really utilize that for your benefit, for your family's benefit, in helping you guys live and make a living and those type of things. So it's kind of I love that. Great proverb. It's got some famous parts in it too. I mean, as iron sharpens iron, that's very famous, right? A person who refuses honey, or who is full refuses honey. That's a famous one too. So there's some good ones in here. The first one, don't brag about what your day is going to be like tomorrow. That's a famous one as well. Just as death and destruction are never satisfied, so human desire is never satisfied. That's famous, So those are some popular proverbs for sure. And then there's the one about just knowing what you got, the investing, right? Knowing what you're invested in, what's around, your assets, things like that. And so you can just take care of your family, that kind of idea. We don't know what's going to come in as an inheritance. We can't rely on it. So sometimes we just have to rely on what we have in the here and now and make sure we're cultivating and investing in good things in the here and now so that it can take care of us later on. Anyway, good stuff, man. A lot of don't be presumptuous, be prepared. Help us with our lustful inclinations. Help us to be full in other ways spiritually so that I'm not just clingy and needy in many ways, dealing with my resentments. So, gosh, there's a lot of good stuff there. Hey, Laura, it was good seeing you yesterday when we were passing in the car. I don't know if we passed one another. But anyway, it's good seeing you, Laura, in the House of Devo this morning. So yeah, good proverb. Proverb 27. We're almost done with the Proverbs. Amazing. We'll be finished soon enough. So you guys have a great day. Take care. Glad we're back on track. Bye-bye.